Hey gang, today we're talking about the 500 Worlds Captain Titus, the new Wardens of Ultramar, and why their release is already causing a lot of discussion in the Warhammer community. Games Workshop's GOAT, Captain Titus, is going on pre-order this weekend, tying directly into Space Marine 2 and positioning him as a central figure of the Ultramarines and the wider 500 Worlds narrative. Alongside him comes a brand new character unit, the Wardens of Ultramar, a 6-model command-style squad designed to operate directly with Titus. From Sunday's previews, it's clear what Games Workshop wants here. A big, elite Ultramarines brick built around Titus. Starting with Titus, his role is essentially that of a heavily enhanced Space Marine captain. He can lead most of the units you'd expect a captain to lead: Intercessors, Assault Intercessors, Blade Guard Veterans, Stern Guard, Hellblasters, and Company Heroes, giving him a lot of flexibility in your list building. Stats-wise, Titus has 6-inch movement, toughness 4, 3+ save, 4+ invuln, and 6 wounds, which is notably chunky for a captain. For war gear, he has a bolt pistol, a master-crafted bolter, and a master-crafted chainsword with anti-infantry 2+. The chainsword is a little bit spicy, 8 attacks hitting on 2+, it's a blender for infantry. On top of that, Titus has a 5+ feel no pain, giving him solid durability for a non-Terminator character. Titus' abilities are Press the Attack and Honor of Ultramar. Press the Attack gives him sustained hits 1 to all weapons equipped by models in the unit he's leading, guns and melee. Honor of Ultramar is the one that makes him a little bit of a munter. If Titus is destroyed in melee and hasn't fought that fight yet, roll a d6. Honor 2+, he isn't removed from the board and can fight after the attackers have finished their attack. This bit's kind of fine, 2+ is a little easy, but fight on death is rare, but it's not awful to play against. It exists. The bit that makes Titus a pretty much unstoppable tank is that if he kills at least one enemy model while doing so, he regains a d3 wounds and is not destroyed. This is kinda mad, and there's no once per game restriction on this ability either. It is balanced a little bit, as it's melee deaths only, but with his anti-infantry chainsword, it's kind of a given he will kill something with those 8 attacks, unless you lock him into melee with a tank. For reference, when I play my Death Guard against something like Custodes, I either take an extra unit of Poxwalkers, or change to the extra Poxwalkers per round detachment, so I can lock Dreadnoughts and tanks in melee, so they're kinda locked out of play. Tanks can still shoot as their vehicles, but it also means that they can't move, so it's easier to keep other units out of line of sight at least for a couple of rounds until the Poxwalkers die. Against Titus, I would do the same to him and treat him like a Dreadnought. He will probably get through a squad of 10 Poxies pretty easy, but with the way damage works in melee, he can only take out max 9 Poxwalkers, 1 with pistol and 8 with chainsword, but only if he goes first. If the Poxies have fights first from charge or can attack before Titus, then you have 10 attacks times 2 with their melee weapons. That's possible 20 attacks, and he does only have 6 wounds. But enough about my Death Guard strats. Back to Titus, sorry. So basically, Honor of Ultramar means, unless changed in an FAQ, Titus can potentially revive multiple times as long as he keeps killing something in melee. That's pretty sick. The Wardens of Ultramar, Titus's bodyguards, are a 6-model character unit, including the Ancient Gadriel from Space Marine 2, Veteran Sergeant Mataris, also from Space Marine 2, the Astropath Danal Cornelius, the Plenipotentiary Lucia Vestha, Gaius Silva, and Amelia Minervus. This unit can join another unit if declared at battle formations. Only infantry units like an Intercessor Squad, Assault Intercessor Squad, Blade Guard Veteran Squad, or a Stern Guard Veteran Squad. And Titus can still join this unit when this unit is in another unit. The ultimate unitception. Unsure if this means that the unit it joined is then this unit's bodyguard, so damage goes to them first, then the Wardens, then Titus, and they can't be targeted? I'm unsure though. Stats-wise, the Wardens are pretty durable. There are 2 sets of stats, they all have 6-inch to move, 6+ leadership, and 1 objective control. They are kinda flipped for toughness, saves, and wounds. Gadriel and Mataris have 4 toughness, 3+ saves, and 4 wounds, where Silva, Minervus, Cornelius, and Vestha have the opposites with 3 tough, 4 saves, and 3 wounds. Their ranged weapons are pretty mid. The Astropath has D6 attached, which is always kinda nice, especially with Titus's press the attack sustains. Their melee weapons are their strong point, mirroring Titus, with 2+ attack and 4 and 5 strength weapons. They also bring some pretty nice abilities and war gear abilities. The second company banner only works if Gadriel is alive, and gives a OC +1 to models in the unit. If both Gadriel and Titus are in the unit, then models in the unit get +1 leadership also. Stratagem Command is a redeploy for up to 3 Adeptus Astartes units, or add them to Strategic Reserves, regardless of the number of units already in Strategic Reserves. In their war gear, Silver has a Refractor Field that gives him a 5+ invuln, and Matoris has a Storm Shield giving him a 4+ invuln. This unit has great objective control stacking, and when you combine Titus with the Wardens and a full squad of Assault Intercessors or Blade Guard veterans, you end up with an extremely high OC, very hard to remove brick of tanky guys. In some configurations this unit can push into the mid-20s for total OC, while being heavily protected by multiple invulns, the high wound counts, and Armor of Contempt. You don't really want to get into melee with this unit, but also you really can't do a whole lot shooting it either. But it is kinda manageable. If you play a big shooty army or vehicle heavy melee list like Knights, something with lots of dreads, maybe, Titus is manageable. You can rely on the toughness to weapon skill roll check, so you can shoot him down or hit him with something that you can't realistically kill on the snapback. Like I said in the Death Guard tangent, against a tank, Titus isn't gonna melee it to death, probably. But for melee-focused infantry armies, it's a problem. With 8 high-quality attacks, sustained hits, the potential buffs from Oath of Movement, Titus is extremely likely to kill at least 1 infantry model when he fights on death. That means armies like Drukhari, Eldari, Blood Angels, World Eaters, Scissors of Battle, etc. can be put into a situation where charging Titus is actively bad, because killing him will just result in him standing back up and killing your unit very fast, potentially ending the game as soon as he's in charge range. This creates a very kinda feels bad gameplay loop that's heavily dependent on matchup, not player decision making, which is kind of eh. This doesn't look like the most broken set of rules ever written, but repeatable resurrection mechanics are scary if they aren't on your side. If an FAQ adds a once per game restriction on the res, then most of these concerns disappear. If it doesn't, Titus becomes a unit that some armies barely notice, and others absolutely hate playing against. So yeah, if you play Space Marines, I wouldn't doubt you wanting to pick up this squad and just destroy almost everyone you play against. That said, I would pay to see a Space Marine matchup with Titus v Titus. I think that would be pretty funny. I do think my Death Guards stand a pretty good chance. They are already pretty tanky in melee as well, but we'll see. I'll make another video covering the Necron rules, so make sure to sub and come back to that. Okay, see you bud.